Hello everyone, welcome to Adhira's Easy Talks. In the last class, we were discussing about Anglo-Saxon literature or Old English literature. In today's class, we will be dealing with Middle English literature up to the age of Chaucer. Okay, so what is the peculiarity of this age, this Middle English period? The first important thing is that the period, Middle English period, is a period of great unjust and oppression. Why? Because the church is very superior during the period. The Catholic Church and aristocracy were very powerful. They were controlling the people, denying the people opportunities of life, and people had to suffer a lot during the time. Okay. Another major incident that happened during the medieval period was the Hundred Years' War. As you know, the Hundred Years' War was between France and England, and it took place. It spanned a period of 1337 to 1453. As you know, there were three major tribes during the period. They were Angles, Saxons, and the Normans. They were powerful people. So these tribes, they were still having some issues in between. These peoples were fighting with each other. But at the moment they started fighting with the French tribes, these tribes find unity. Thus, England emerged as a strong nation. Talking about this 100 Years' War, you need to know about three major battles that took place in between the period. So, these three important battles were England defeated France. They were Battle of Crecy, 1346, Battle of Poitiers, 1356, and the Battle of Agincourt that took place during 1450. Very important. Okay. Then the other major incident that took place during the period was the Black Death. Actually, this Black Death was very important because this made people question religion. Black Death was actually a plague, a bubonic plague, and it appeared first in Dorset. Okay. It first appeared in 1348, but later it reappeared in 1362, 1363, and in 1365. At that time, people didn't know about it. People did not have any idea regarding this epidemic. So, at that time, churches were giving promises. The church authorities, the partner, they were selling tickets to heaven. They were selling tickets to long life. They were asking people to be happy. Then these people doubt church. They started questioning religion. People thought like, now we should have a change in our thought. I'll give you a reference. I'll give you an example. For example, we have the partner character in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. He's going for the journey. He gets drunk, and after getting drunk, he says, I am not a partner. I am carrying some bones, some tooth of animals from church, but I am not a partner. I didn't complete any degree of partner. I'll go to villages, I'll go to remote areas. I scare people in the name of hell. He scares his people to confess their crime. Then people confess. He says, okay, pay a price to the God. Then your crime will be pardoned. These partners say that I take money. If they are not able to pay money, I'll take their cattle. If they are not able to have both cattle and money, then I'll be taking their daughters. So technically saying, the wrong practices of church, the corruption of church was very much prevalent during that period. And at that time, churches were more powerful even than the king himself. So Chaucer's age was the first modern age where he talks about the corruption of church and all types of other issues. Okay. So we have a major writer during the period. That is, we have the famous writer John Wycliffe. He was the first man who had translated Vulgate's Latin Bible into English. Now you might be thinking like, what is the difference between this Old Testament and the New Testament? I'll tell you. This Old Testament is believed that before Christ, the followers of God, Mother Mary, virgins, then the bishops, monks, the practitioners of church, and they wrote some sermons. Their sermons were combined together, and so the Old Testament is part of the Bible before Christ. Okay. John Wycliffe's translation of Vulgate's Latin Bible into English was an excellent example to this. This Vulgate's Latin Bible is otherwise called as St. Jerome's Bible. Okay. Vulgate's Latin Bible was otherwise called as St. Jerome's Bible. And talking about this John Wycliffe, he is an important member of Lollard group. He was the first leader of the Lollard group, and the second leader of this Lollard group was John Purvey. He is called as the this John Wycliffe is called as the morning star of Reformation. He was the first person to talk about the Reformation of church. Here, Lollard Lol means to chant the hymn. Okay, that is about the Old Testament. Then you have the New Testament. What is this New Testament? This testament, it is part of the Bible when Christ came, and the followers of the Christ combines sermons as speech. Okay. Initially, people did not believe. They didn't have any belief in this Christ, and that was the reason. If anybody talk about Christ or Christian New Testament were paralyzed. The famous example of William Tyndale's was he translated New Testament into English. He was the first man to translate New Testament into English. Okay. Then another major incident took place during the period, that was the peasant revolt. What is the peculiarity of this peasant revolt? This peasant revolt that gave some freedom and centrality to the ordinary people. Before this revolt, they were treated like animals. Their rights were denied. So, this at the end of the Middle Ages, finally, all troubles had ended and Renaissance began. Okay. Then, at the end of this medieval period, you have three great masters. They were Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio. So, Dante was a writer of Divine Comedy, and he was the first sonnet practitioner. Then you have Petrarch. He was the one who perfected the sonnets. Then the third person is Boccaccio. And this Boccaccio was the first major prose writer in European languages. And he wrote Decameron. And he influenced Chaucer, or Geoffrey Chaucer also. So these are the major fountains of medieval literature or medieval period. So talking about the language of period, England found identity as a nation, right? As I said. After that, what they want was a language of their own, a culture of their own. So they believed that language is the root of all culture. Here, I would like to quote a person, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. He's not a British person. He is an African writer. He says, "Kill language, kill culture." What does that mean? Kill language, kill culture. Kill the language, kill the culture means if you want an identity, work on your language, work on your own language and find your language. At that time, English was not a language. There were two major shifts happening during the period. The Great Vowel Shift, that is, first in Elizabethan age, 100 plus words were coined by Shakespeare, as we know. This Anglo-Saxon literature or the medieval literature, the English, the vernacular language, it was very difficult for us to understand. Okay, we find that English had a better stance in neoclassical period. And we will study this great vowel shift in the coming classes. Then the major three incidents had took place. I'll tell you. Before that, we need to know that there were many dialects developed during the period. So as you know, there are multiple dialects. The major or the popular dialects include Mercian, East Midland, Kentish, Northumbrian, and the Southumbrian. These were the most popular dialect during the period, as I said. There is a question in the net exam question paper. Which is the dialect taken by Chaucer was converted into English language? I repeat the question. Which is the dialect taken by Chaucer was converted into English language? It is none other than the East Midland dialect. So, England became the language of court in 1362. English became the language of parliament in 1363. Then English became the language of school syllabus in 1386. There it was written wrong. It is 1386. Okay. The first book in English, Canterbury Tales, came in 1388. So in 1386, the school syllabus replaced the French. Okay. English was made as the school syllabus language. So then we have the three major kings during the period. Who are they? Who are the three major kings during the period? From the slide, it is understood, right? So, the three major kings during the period include Edward III from 1327 to 1377, Richard II 1377 to 1399, Henry IV from 1399 to 1415. So, these are the three major kings during the period. And when we take Chaucer, we will be looking, we will see this king again. Okay, these kings again. So this is an introduction up to Chaucer. The next video will be on